I'm so happy to be back. I'm glad we had a break to just enjoy family. So hopefully you guys
Yes.
had a break. But it is Tuesday. It is Black Table Read. It's so good to be back. If you're a first timer, my name is Jarius Clyott, and to my right is Lydia Aku, and we're gonna be your host. If, like I said, if this is your first time, go and check us out on anywhere you listen to podcasts. We're on all of them because we're dope like that. Also, go check us out on YouTube. We have all of our videos from past, so you can kind of catch up. But like I said, we talk about kind of pretty much everything, from the stage to not the stage to just everyday life, and that's our table read. So, the first thing we're going to get started with is our black top. This is where we talk about it all, everything that's happening in pop culture, in the world, politics, COVID, all of it. So we just kind of run it up and down. So, Miss Aku, you want to take it away for the beginning?
You were like one of two people that say my name like that.
Aku,
Is Iku.
Iku.
But it's funny
I'm
because
sorry.
no, it's real fun because in the Ghanaian culture,
Uh huh.
that because Iku is literally my middle name is Ikua,
Uh huh.
but there's a different way to spell it. It's usually Akua, and
Uh.
mine is Ekua because my father spelled it wrong on my birth certificate. But
Yeah.
there's other ways to say that, but literally the other way can be like Akuya. So when you put like Aku, it's like, that's
Oh
the other way.
Lord.
But literally, I'm just like, shoot, as long as people know that it's those three letters,
Iku.
because people act like they don't know how to read sometimes. And even with my first name, Linda is a trigger word.
Oh,
So,
I'm sorry.
no, you are totally fine. But yes, yo, we are in the blacktop. So, first up, let me see, we have, oh shoot, hold on, my notes are going away from me,
Oh no, not the notes.
right? Technology. And usually I have it written down. You have yours up, don't you?
Oh yeah, I have mine up.
You want to go with yours first while mine
Yeah,
load?
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
sure. So with it being December 1st, I didn't know this. And I feel kind of bad that I don't know this, but today, being December 1st, is actually Rosa Parks Day.
So it
So,
is.
I was telling Lydia earlier, December 1st is also my mother's birthday, so that's how I can always like pinpoint. Okay, it's a new month because mommy's birthday is on the first. So, but it's actually also Rosa Parks Day. So this was the day that historically Rosa Parks in 1955 refused to give up her seat to a white passenger, thus sparking the Montgomery boycott, thus kind of sparking the civil rights movement. So she would have been, it's the 65th anniversary
Hmm.
of her. Trying to figure out how old she would have been.
I think well into her 90s, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
yeah, yeah. She should be in her
Yeah.
90s. But I mean that in itself is that's that shows, okay, we're 65 years into something that prolific and monumental. And though we've moved away from, you know, not having to be segregated on buses or schools and everything, there's a lot to still unpack
Oh yeah.
with within our nation, our country. I mean, the past 4 years, if you've been paying attention, feels like we've been going in reverse almost with a lot of things. You know, people have been trying
Yeah.
to roll back Brown versus Board of Education, Roe versus Wade, like all these things that kind of have gotten us to this point that makes it bearable, but they're still being challenged. So it kind of sucks that her example is as kind of a staple in civil rights. Uh, it's kind of getting, when you look at when you basically survey how things are going, it kind of goes on a sour note. It's like, oh man, yeah, we thought we had pushed past this, and even 65 years later, I still have to worry about being possibly called a boy, you know,
Yeah.
or lynched, or discriminated
Stop
against. Like,
living as a black person in America.
yeah.
Legit. Legit. Yeah.
So, but thank you so much, Miss Rosa Parks, for being that spark and kind of standing your ground. I think that took a lot of guts and a lot of courage during your time, and hopefully people like me and Lydia can kind of keep going with that stance and not taking nobody's BS just because of how we look. Amen, church.
Yeah. All right.
Mm-mm. Um, next thing, because we talked about him a couple episodes ago, but the very funny and hilarious Dave Chappelle was in the news yet again. Um, also, I had somebody a while ago, a friend of mine, was like, Dave Chappelle isn't funnier than Kevin Hart. And I
I'm
was
sorry. What?
like, we can't be friends anymore.
What?
I
Now it's like you can't.
was like,
That's
we can't be friends anymore, sir.
that's kind of.
What made you say those things? What
Yeah.
made you what made you blaspheme like that?
I mean, they definitely do have two different styles, but
Kevin
it's
just
like just to be
yells
like,
a
oh, he's
lot.
not. Yeah.
Kevin just yells way too much. Like Dave's humor is both a punchline and a Like it's
Right.
one of those like we talked about when he hosted SNL. The punchlines were there, but they were also very much like I need to go think about this for a
Yeah.
while because
He's
this
definitely on the story tip. Like he loves to make
yeah
it wrapped around into a story form, and it's just like, oh, and then it's like, oh, that, huh, yeah,
Yeah, and that's always been his style, which I think I've enjoyed even while the Chappelle show was going on, and that's why
yeah.
he's been in the news more recently. So if you've been doing your normal plus COVID binge watching of Netflix, uh, you'll know that recently the Chappelle show was on there. Now, if you've been watching and all of a sudden you went back and it wasn't there, there's a reason for that. So at a recent stand-up event that Dave was doing, he informed that he had personally contacted Netflix to take it off because they still hadn't paid him his royalty money for the Chappelle show. And his thing was, yeah, it was in the contract, X, Y, and Z. Now, does that make it right? No. And he said the reason that he really vibes with Netflix and he's done so many stand-up shows for them is because they are of their word. Like he literally called them and he was like, "This makes me unhappy
Yeah.
that this is being on here. Can you take it off?" And they were like, "All right, bet." Pulled.
Right.
Um so I think that's a monumental thing to be able to go to a major network and air your grievances and actually have them stand up for you. But also, it speaks to the level of, dare I say, slavery type stuff that these networks have over black talent and whatnot. Because, when Dave signed that thing, Dave was just, it's like, look, I'm just trying to get a check. I've done movies, I've done TV, but to have my own show on a network like Comedy Central, like that was pretty monumental, especially during this time, and it ran for however long it ran.
Yeah.
Um, but you know, it just continues to perpetuate that we only matter if the dollar signs are in order, and even then, we get gypped for the dollars that we are actually owed.
Legit.
So, but shout out to Dave for being like, hey, take it down, and they obliged and took it down. So I think the only place that you can um watch Chappelle show right now is
He's still on HBO Max.
yeah, he is on HBO Max. And a couple clips here and there on YouTube. I think that's about
Yeah.
it. So yeah, those are the two things that I thought would be pretty dope in the news. So what you got, Miss Lydia?
All right. So we back up and running. Praise God. So Salt and Pepper fans, there's a biopic
Hey.
coming our way. It'll be on Lifetime. They officially have a date set. So it'll air on January 23rd, 2021. And playing the ladies, we have Gigi Townsend as Salt, or as Cheryl Salt James, and
Mm-hmm.
Layla Odom as Sandra Pepper Denton. And Monique Paul, who will play Deidre Roper, aka DJ Spinderella,
Yep.
amongst another. It's so many good folks. I believe Queen Latifah is going to be co-producing.
Oh, thank
Um,
God. I
Mario
thought you
Van
was finna say Wendy
Peebles.
Williams. I got concerned.
Oh, huh? No. I think yeah. So yeah, Queen and Mario Van Peebles, love him.
Mm-hmm.
Who was best director? He was the director for New Jack City. He's also on
Hey.
board to produce. I'm sorry, Andrew Williams, who wrote the screenplay for Bobby Brown's story and New Edition story,
Okay.
and Robert Teetle, who is best known for the Barbershop franchise. They are all on board to be executive producers. So I'm excited for that. I love me some Salt and Pepper. I was busting What a Man earlier in my cardio.
Look, all I keep hearing in my head right now is, ooh, baby, baby,
Uh,
baby, baby,
my song from that. What's my
baby.
other one? Shoot. Like it was like, oh my goodness, girl, look at him. He's the finest brother in here. He's walking this
Oh
way.
God.
That's my jam.
I missed their little show that they had. They used to have a
Yeah, they had a
reality
reality
show
show.
on VH1.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
that used to be my mom, me and my mom used to watch. I was like, oh, where'd they
yeah.
go? You know.
It wasn't as messy. Well, I didn't expect them to be messy, but they both have, their big personalities, and especially like with
Yeah.
Pepper, she's crazy. But yeah, I enjoyed it too. When I was
Mm.
back watching reality TV, they
I
definitely like was one. I was like, oh, let me catch up with them, and then after a
yeah.
while, just fell off with everything.
I don't think I've watched a reality TV show in
Yeah.
maybe a good shoot. I want to say maybe a good 5, 6 years. I used to
Mm,
watch the Love and Hip Hop. I think when I was in college, and then Real World, and then the
oh yeah,
Challenge. I don't know if you
yeah.
watch like the oh that used to be my jam.
Oh yeah.
And then I just kind of was like, I'm gonna watch more titillating stuff.
Right. Things that will stimulate my thoughts and brain that will actually advance what I
the
want to do for my life
or the people
versus
around me.
right. Right. So
Mhm.
yeah, shout out to Salt, shout out to Pepper. Looking forward to that. So that'll be on our screens next month. Ah,
Okay. All
because
right.
we are in December.
We
Look at
are.
that. And lastly, shout out to bless Jerry's, because this was definitely female driven, this laptop, but it is all right. We are here.
Hey,
We are here.
hey, after watching the cause remember I told you I finally finished Lovecraft. I finally finished.
What do you think?
It took me 4 days. And now I just want to go back and watch it. I was hoping there'd be more. It was great. It was
Yeah.
so great. I especially love because I'm such a music person. I
Mm.
love the fusion of modern and period piece.
Oh yeah.
Like modern music and period piece. I've always just loved when people blend those concepts together.
Yes.
But the episode that I started listening to the podcast because I started listening to the I Am episode
Mhm.
podcast.
Yeah.
Just just as being a black man and wanting to understand more of the black woman struggle and help forward whatever agenda. That episode was so prolific about like women shrinking because of, and I'm like, then you have to of course take self-evaluation and be like, have I assisted in someone shrinking, and
Mm.
how do I make sure I don't do that? And so
Mhm.
when you told me it was female hair, I was like, all right, bet we still gonna let it ride. So I'm cool with it. So it's been good.
So yeah, on that note, congratulations are in order for Miss Simone Sanders,
Mm.
or Saunders, I hope I'm saying it right, and Miss Corinne Jean Pierre. These two ladies were both senior advisors with Joe Biden's campaign and were
Mm-hmm.
announced Sunday that amongst the all-female senior communications team for the White House's incoming administration. For I believe Ms. Jean-Pierre, she was on Kamala Harris. She was her chief of staff, her campaign
Mm-hmm.
chief of staff, and she also advised Biden on different strategies and his communication whenever it will come to his direction toward the Black community and
Yeah.
what things can progress, as well as for like women and everything like that. So she is going to be the White House's principal deputy press secretary. And prior to that, she was the public affairs officer for Move On. And I've actually volunteered with them a couple of times, but it's a public policy advocacy group and political action committee. So shout out to her. And for Ms.
Okay.
Simone Sanders, she is going to be the chief spokeswoman for Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. So yes, women.
All
Amen,
right.
amen,
Bravo,
amen.
women.
She
Bravo.
at first was the national press secretary for Bernie Sanders during his campaign back in
Mm.
2016. So let's just say both of their credentials speak loud, and
Yeah.
we are yet proud for them amongst the other women that are on this committee. So yeah, the White House is
Okay.
in transition. Amen. Even if we gotta have someone coming out screaming to come out
Y'all
of that thing.
just get a
But
dust bunny and sweep up that Cheeto monster.
I
Just
am no more good.
just sweep him out at this point. Get a broom and just sweep him out. He over there infecting everybody with COVID. Just go and get him out.
See.
But shout out to, I mean, just the fact that we have this much representation about to hit the White House.
Yeah.
It gives me remnants of when Obama was coming up, and even though we do have yet another white man as president, but the people that will be influential in him it will look like us. That's, I think, what's more. I'm waiting for. I don't know if it'll come, but I'm waiting on that Cory Booker appointment. I'm trying to see where Cory gonna fall.
That's what a lot of people have been saying for both him, Elizabeth Warren, and there was one more candidate.
Oh yeah, they getting their seat at the table.
Right, and it's only a matter of time that I'm looking like where they gonna fit in.
Mm-hmm. So
yeah,
y'all stay tuned to that because we'll be watching.
We will.
Mm-hmm. All right, family. Well, that has been the Blacktop. Hopefully you learned something that I didn't know or that you didn't know. So now it's time for the table read.
Been dancing and singing all day.
I have. Lydia caught me on live. Look, I likes to jam when I cook. So we play them old school jams. We had Rick James playing while I was turning my greens. And then I heard Earth, Wind, and Fire while I was basting my chicken. Would you mind? Again, just that's just me. That's just me. Also, before we go any step further, y'all look at Lydia. Lydia has on this beautiful Christmas onesie.
It is December. I have been waiting for this. I've been waiting for the cold to just come in. Fall came in here. Well, now it's fall. She definitely presented herself as autumn first. It's December 1st. I cannot wait to decorate. I'm going to be doing that as soon as we come off of here. And the gingerbread cookies are ready. My hot chocolate is ready. I got my my 3-part candle that is going right now. It's on Christmas pine. We shall have just a little bit before it gets to tree fall winter. It's not a game.
Tell your man if he need a place to come and be reprieved, he can come on over.
No, we're both here. He's helping me decorate. So
look, we got beer, we got beer, we got PlayStation. If he needs a moment.
Don't try to save him from the spirit. We here.
Well, y'all, it is time for our table read, and I think it's one that, like I said, it's gonna make you think. We're gonna hit something a little close to home for all of us right now. So, like Lydia said, it is December, but it is also month number 9.
Yeah.
It's been 9 since the pandemic hit. Life is different. We're doing a lot of Zoom calls. We're doing a lot of virtual productions. We're doing a lot of auditions
Yep.
virtually. Hopefully you're wearing a mask. You should be, and social distancing. There's a lot of new things happening. Our industry, of course, has been frozen, and not the Disney kind. Uh, it's been it's been a struggle, because a lot of people, this is our livelihood, so we've kind of had to pivot. Some people are going into corporate America. Some people are, finding new ways to earn a living because we can't do certain things.
Right.
And so it's a completely new normal. Um, and so we're going to discuss what that looks like. Like I said, from the entertainment to just regular life. Uh, when me and Lydia were talking about this earlier, I told her one thing that I think we definitely have to touch on first above anything else is the vaccine buzz.
Hmm.
We were gonna put it in the blacktop, but it's just too big not to talk about. So we're gonna talk about it here. So the vaccine. So if you don't pay attention to the news, like this old man here, I typically wake up and watch Good Morning America and ABC and maybe a little Fox 5 here with my grandma, depending on where I am and what
Oh,
time it is. But I also read, newspaper and all that. But I stay informed and I listen to NPR. Just shout out to Bay for introducing me to NPR. So
what
much.
you just that's what I'm on. My
Look,
daddy got me on that. We used to go to
look.
school listening to that.
When we started dating, I'm like NPR. I don't know. Look, when I'm headed to the gym, that's the first thing I hit is like I'll move
Yep.
from that to listening to NPR. So, uh, but the vaccine. So if you've been paying any type of attention, there are how many vaccines? Three. There are three
Three.
vaccines that are in the works. I think one works 90%, one works 95%, and one also maybe like 95, 98. And they all have like different things. Like one you have to take maybe like 2 shots within a span of like 30 days, and then one is only 1 shot. And so it's just like varying degrees, but they are showing a lot of promise. Now, the kicker is one, distribution of it is a big concern, how to get it worldwide. But also who gets it first. That's one thing I was listening to on NPR. There's like this talk of who gets it first. Do the healthcare and essential worker people get it first? Do people who have underlying conditions get it first? Do you know mom and pop get it first? Just like nobody really knows who's getting it first.
Right.
But one thing that is apparent is that a lot of the black and brown community has been truly affected by COVID-19 in like rapid numbers since it hit. And unfortunately, because of how this country has treated us in the past when it came to medicine and healthcare or lack thereof, I can attest I'm a little hesitant uh, of getting it. Um,
Why?
I think for me, it, I think it. I'm trying to figure out the best way to illustrate this because of I'm trying to think what was that? Was it this Tuskegee Airmen project or something like that with the
Oh, with their yeah, they did an experiment. Yep.
yeah. And so yeah, it was the infamous syphilis study.
Yes.
So where they were actively infecting black people with syphilis and then watching them. This is in the 1930s.
Hmm.
So just having that and it kind of was like, oh, I don't really want to do this just yet. You
Yeah.
know, it's that fear factor of they really did that.
Mhm.
And so I know even my aunts and my grandmother, we haven't really talked about it, but just hearing her views about it recently, she's curious about it, but there's a lot of people who are concerned about gene altering,
Mhm.
um, because it uses a certain sequence. Some people, the experts that were on NPR recently, said there's no effects that'll come from it, even though it uses remnants of like gene alter. So it's just all these unknowns,
Yeah.
and it seems like a very rushed process. Like most vaccines don't come out for like 10 years, maybe, if that. Um, and so yeah, it's just a lot of questions of what happens to you. Like for me, I'm pretty content right now just doing what I've been doing. I think I've done a pretty good job. My routine is fairly the same.
Mhm.
Go to work, spend time with my family, spend time with Vern, come home. That's pretty like I really condense most of my interactions
Yeah.
anyways, and I'm wearing a mask most of the places I go or interact with. So, um yeah, until it just I want to see how it acts. I'm like the vaccine is like the PlayStation 5 with me. I'm gonna wait a while, see how it acts. Then I'll think about maybe getting it when I've seen enough evidence that it's working properly. Then I'll
Yeah.
go. So, what do you think about the vaccine and stuff?
I'm kind of on that with you. I honestly was freaked out some years ago when they were first administering the flu vaccine, and there was a video of this girl who had gotten the vaccine
Hmm.
and could only function by walking backwards.
Oh yeah, I do remember seeing that.
Now, it was a long time ago. That at the time, I think, the vaccine had been out for a little while. So people were
Hmm.
just like, oh no, it's fine. And then they were starting to bring it more into schools, and they would bring it into the
Hmm.
routine for like kids to get their physicals. And I mean, I don't know how regular it is now in schools. I know back in Kentucky, like we used to have to get it during our first grade year, third grade,
Hmm.
sixth, and then you basically had a choice if you wanted to get it again in high school. I think we did in ninth grade as well. So basically like
Yeah.
every 3 years. Um, and they gave us an option my senior year of high school if we wanted to get the vaccine along with, our TB shots, um, the let's see, TB, the what is it? It's
Me,
like the A, B, and C.
I was gonna say the measles. No,
Not
something.
measles. It was like four different shots that we usually had to get,
Yeah.
and then they added the vaccine on top of it. I saw that video of that girl, and I was just like, I like walking. Um, I
Forward.
like I like using my legs to go forward. I don't want to have to turn around and be like, hey, and it's like, are you okay? Because literally, like when they showed her walking forward, like you would think that she had MS. It
Yeah.
was that bad.
Yeah.
And not to say that that happens, because I know people who have gotten the vaccine, and even talking about the COVID vaccine with one of my like two of my oldest aunts. She's just like, oh yeah, as soon as it comes out, I'm getting it. And I was just like, but wait, like, do you know exactly
Hmm.
what's going into it? Because like you said, most vaccines need time because it's like you have this virus, whatever it is, you
Yeah.
got all these top doctors on it, and then they have to use their brains along with other brains, along with brains across the pond. This list is like, okay, this is what we have. What can we all put together so that we make sure that when we administer this out, it won't hurt anyone, that it basically will save everyone. Now, with something like COVID, whether it was an experiment gone bad, there's so many conspiracies of, oh, it started from a bat, or then it's like, how the heck did it spread over here so quick? And it's like,
Yeah.
there's so many things you can think going into it. But like you said, just the flu vaccine, that was one thing. It's still out. People still getting it. I'm still not on top of, that
Yeah.
choice of when to get that. But with this vaccine here, I don't want to see not a near needle come near my body that says COVID
Come on,
vaccine. It's
come
like,
on, Lydia.
I just can't, because it's like you said, like, my routine has been pretty much the same outside of like doing some traveling here and there for work purposes.
Yeah.
But it still has been me being safe and me keeping those around me safe, wearing your
Yeah.
mask. But I'm already like a slight germaphobe anyway, not so much OCD, but I find myself just like, I always have
Yeah.
my sanitizer on hand. I have about 6, 7 different masks, 3 of them in my purse, another one in my jacket pocket. I don't play around. Every time I touch something, it's like, ooh,
Look,
I don't care where.
you the type of person that's already looking at the person behind you. Tick,
Exactly.
tick.
As soon as I hear it's like, what's wrong with you? You all right? You good?
Not even that. I tell people all the time, I didn't like people standing behind me like that before this.
Exactly.
Get back to that sticker.
Right.
Get back to that sticker.
Right. And I just, there's so much going with it that even before COVID, it's like most of the things that we are being told it should have already been understood. But
Yeah.
people have to see it in like big bold letters. Wash your hands. Wash your hands. Like, you don't know how
it's
many
in the
times
bathroom. Employees must wash hands
you
before
must wash your
returning.
hands before coming back to work. Like, what are we talking about? And
Mhm.
it literally doesn't make sense. But just going back on the vaccine, yeah, if there had to be one that I would get. But and another thing, I don't like being sick. I can't stand being sick, and that's one thing that I found after living here in Atlanta. I've probably gotten sick out of these.
Yeah.
How
You
long
get
have it
sick
been?
down
7
here.
years. I have gotten sick maybe twice. When I was at home in Kentucky, we're in the Ohio Valley.
Yeah.
That thing there will have your sinuses just jacked up. And having asthma as a kid, like literally, it was not a good combination. Being here, I guess just being below the mountains is just like, oh, it's
Yeah.
great. And I haven't had to worry about it. When you get a vaccine like that, it basically makes you have that virus so that you can be immune to it.
Mhm.
I don't want to even feel the effects of that. I can't even
Yeah.
stand having a cold. I can't even stand just
Yeah.
my body in that mode. So just to get a shot to just
Yeah.
make me sick, no, thank you.
Now
So
this one, now the vaccine, from what I've been researching, apparently it doesn't have the actual, it doesn't it doesn't contain any COVID. That's what they're saying.
yeah,
They said that it, at least it has the something about the sequence, like the genetic sequence or something, but it doesn't have the actual. Whereas like the flu has it, like the measles has it, or a mild part of it, that kind of stuff.
mhm.
Like I said, I won't. As for me and my house,
Okay.
we won't be taking it. At least not no time soon.
Mm-mm.
And like I said, it's just because in the past it's just been so mishandled. Uh, I mean, I'm not being funny. Our country as a whole is just being mishandled, just in general.
No,
So,
legit. You
uh,
know,
you know, you got people across the pond getting stimulus checks from the U.S. for the relief. I was like, how do you as the Treasury miss that? And then they were like, if it happens again, there's no way of stopping it from happening again. Like they haven't figured out how to stop. I was like, y'all know what? I'm going back in the house. I'm just gonna quarantine again. I'm gonna shut myself down.
right.
Cause so yeah, I think the vaccine is a big thing that people are gonna be watching,
Mm-hmm.
and trying to see what comes out of it, and then we'll go from there. Now, one thing I would say about us, because I think you might have mentioned it, as is our industry, the entertainment industry,
Mm-hmm.
is has hit a big kind of wall. Now, some things are coming back. Like some of my favorite TV shows are back. I get to watch my Grey's Anatomy, my Station 19s, my Good Doctor. You know, that kind of stuff is back. They, of course, some of the shows, especially if they're essential worker like Grey's Anatomy and Station 19, focus more so on COVID-19 right now. That's kind of built into their storyline. Um, and I don't think any of my other shows have come back. Yeah, most of the other shows I watch, like The Flash and stuff, won't be back until January.
Yes.
Um, and so that kind of stuff is back, but for people like me, like I don't know about you, TV and film is fine. It's just one thing that I definitely don't like is how long it takes to shoot a 5 minute scene.
Yeah.
A 5 minute scene is like a 2 day shoot depending on how it goes. Like I had a little extra role in What Men Want. If you haven't seen that movie, go check it out. You can just skip right on to towards the end with the little scene that I'm in. Other
Yeah.
than that, the movie's kind of meh. Uh,
Yeah.
see my
It's
look.
definitely a hit or miss.
Look,
Yeah.
you can see my face. That's all you can be like. Oh, I saw you in the movie. Yes, you did.
Mm.
That wasn't my voice. Um, but that scene took 2 days,
Wow.
and I was like, and I get it because we shot it from it's shot from so many different angles. You got the congregational shots, you got close-up shots, you got. And I was like, 2 days. I mean, the check was nice, but 2 days of a 12, almost a 12-hour day. It's like, oh. But I missed the stage. Like, I mean,
So much.
that audience, that like I told you, I just finished workshopping a show that I've been working on since November, early November, and we finally, put it off to an audience on Sunday,
Yeah.
and it was like stepping in an old good pair of shoes. It was like, oh, this is not. I see people's faces. They got masks on, but I see people's. But it also enhanced my performance because up until that point in rehearsal, like I kind of just been doing it. Like I didn't suck or nothing, but
Yeah.
it wasn't me how I know
Yeah.
I can be. And one of our music director after the show, he was like, "You turned it on today." I was like, "Yeah, we had an audience. I felt myself. I felt the role finally, and it all just clicked." Um, but I don't see us coming back like anytime soon.
Yeah. I had one of the creative directors from a show I did maybe like 3 years ago. It was a holiday show. He wanted basically our cast, and there was another cast that did the show before us from New York, just to send, like some songs and things that we did. And literally like all of the memories from that show just came rushing back, especially now since we're, here in December. And I remember we ran from, I think we ran from like basically all of December up from, let me see, like the first up until Christmas Eve. And just the whole essence of like being backstage, like the
Mhm.
quick changes and like singing carols and just like just cutting up, like
Yeah.
backstage shenanigans. That part I really, really miss. I mean, yeah, being in front of an audience, that part, but it's just like being backstage with the cast, cutting up in the dressing room,
Oh yeah.
just all of that. Like I miss that part. And it's like, yeah, I had my first Zoom audition the other day, and it was cool. We had the choreography part. We had like they had like the breakout rooms on Zoom, so it's like
Yeah.
we switched off, and it was just like, okay, and it took the stress off from being in the room. As
Yeah.
you're being in the room, and it's just like you'll look at the person whether you know them or not, and it was cool, especially like on the choreography, because you don't have to worry about a person being in your space when you're trying to
Yeah.
like do that pirouette. You can literally like be wherever you are, move it however big you want to. You
Yeah.
have to worry about smacking somebody. But yeah, I mean,
Snapping somebody.
but
Weak.
yeah, I think just with our industry, like I was talking with a friend the other day. He's in Chicago, and he was telling me that places like Second City, they're looking to close, like possibly for
Mhm.
good. And it's just like all of these like monumental places, and thinking about the theaters up in New York. And even like not even just the ones on Broadway, but like off Broadway, like how they were already having to, hold on just on the sake of the shows that they did and the people they brought in. But
Yeah.
think about like the big Broadway theaters. You think about your Lion Kings and Wickeds and how we were saying last episode, where it's just like, all right, they can kind of like go on somewhere. Let's bring in some new works, but it's still just like even the folks that have been in those shows for like, season after season after season.
Yeah.
That whole part is just really sad to think about because it's like those are jobs that are no more, from the folks on stage to everybody backstage, the
Yeah.
ushers, and even just the people who come to places like New York or here or Chicago or
Yeah.
even going out to LA to, check out some work where,
Yeah.
you can't just like be there and
Not
get a
go see
ticket and go
something.
see a
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
And I went to Chicago, what was that, like Halloween weekend, and I wasn't too far from the Goodman Theater. I mean, oh, it would have been perfect, but it's just like, you know,
Yeah.
it was COVID, so
Yeah,
yeah.
you can't go to these certain spots because I remember 2 years ago I was on tour um with the musical that had just come over from Ireland,
Yeah.
and uh it was a cool experience, and we were in Chicago for Thanksgiving, and I'd
Hmm.
never been to Chicago, and it was just a great experience. We went to the little parade on Thanksgiving Day. It was freezing cold. Um, but a couple weeks after that, uh, we kind of circled back, and it's a town that's probably like 45 minutes outside of Chicago. It's called Joliet,
Hmm.
and this is probably right around the time. This is around Laverne's birthday, and she came because her plans got all screwed up. She was supposed to go to Paris, but
Hmm.
she ended up
Oh,
coming. Yeah, some with her airline that she picked went under, and they didn't notify her. And y'all, if my baby calls me crying, talking about how upset, I almost bought her a ticket with whatever little money I had. It was like
oh.
I was like, what you need? You need my card number? Or so, I get paid tomorrow. Just can you wait? And so I ended up telling, I was like, hey, why don't you just come to our next stop? Find your hotel. I know you got some points somewhere.
Right.
You know, come on tour. I'll get you a ticket to the show. We'll find something to do. So I'm on a tour bus, Lydia, and I end up finding out that Maxwell is in town, is in Chicago.
Oh,
I'd never seen Maxwell live.
me either. He is definitely
Uh,
on the list.
and because before that, it was like, okay, well, maybe we can go see a movie. I made her this gift bag of like, uh, it was like this gift box of Crown with like two glasses. I found that. I
Hmm.
got her favorite candy, some cookies. And I was like, that's not enough. This ain't, I don't like that.
Yeah.
What else we got? And so I'm just scrolling on StubHub, and then boop, Maxwell has been in Chicago for 2 nights. I said, okay, bet. So I tell her, I was like, hey, when you get your rental car, just come straight to where I am, and we got to go straight back um to Chicago. And we were in the Chicago theater. I mean, just seeing that Maxwell was amazing, but this alley that we walked past was also where Hamilton was housed at the time.
Hmm.
And I was like, man, I really wanted us to see Hamilton, but they weren't doing their show that night that we went into Chicago. And I was like, man, it's like certain places you just can't go like, and not experience the arts community. And it's places
Right.
like Chicago, like the LAs, like New York, like the arts community in New York is so engraved
Absolutely.
into New York's culture. Like it's just it is what it is. Like
Right.
I would love to go visit my friends who are in New York right now. As much
Yeah.
as I love them and would love to spend all my time with them, I love going to the museums. I love stepping foot in Harlem and going to the Harlem Museum and finding a new exhibit that I haven't seen, or going to the Apollo just to see it, you
Right.
know. Uh and have visions of one day. Like for us, I think going to those places is an energizer. It's very much like a battery charge for us. Because go
Yeah.
places like whenever I go to New York, I of course I'm working, I'm auditioning, but I'm also going there to kind of get something that I may not have here in Atlanta.
Hmm.
Because I always feel like when I come back from a New York trip, whether it was good or bad, whether I got the gig or not, I always come back feeling like, okay, I can keep doing this because if I can play in that playground at the highest level, I can basically play in anything.
Right.
And I kind of miss that right now. Like I've had a lot of, and this is very transparent. I've had a lot of self doubt about my abilities. Um, a lot of second guessing if I can maintain. I told Vern the other day, I was like, I can get a corporate job. I can't. And it's funny, the moment I go to start trying to do it, something instantly pops up that's
Yeah.
like, so I've actually, like I said, I've been focusing more on teaching, which I have adored so much.
Yeah.
And molding young minds and doing that because that kind of keeps me sharp. And then there's a couple performances sprinkled in here and there, so it's kind of it has its moments, but God, I miss being in like a full show, like a 6 week type process. We in the trenches, that awful tech rehearsal process where all y'all just looking at each other like this ain't it.
Right. I
And
would
then
go
the
for a 10 out of 12 right now.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And then look, and then you open, and it's the amazing opening party, and
Yeah.
then y'all have the inside jokes and the moments, and y'all just clowning around before the show because y'all basically know it now. You can do it
Right.
with your eyes closed, and then it closes, and then you miss these people. You're still singing the songs, and like the stuff makes us that makes this business so fun. Like I
Right.
think a lot of people think we just are lazy people and we don't, but we literally are a walking, talking like business.
Yeah.
Like, and so I think people are being quite irresponsible when it comes to how they respond to the pandemic. Is another
Yeah.
thing. People don't want to wear masks. They feel like it's infringing. Like you said, Liddy, how many masks you got?
I have I have 8. Yeah. I
Look,
have
I
8.
I keeps me a mask.
Okay.
I got the disposable ones. I got ones that I just kind of wear. I even got an Alabama one. I wore that
Hmm.
on Saturday. I was not able to watch the game because I was at
Oh,
rehearsal.
it was good. Yeah.
But I'm showing my support in my own way. But like, I think I think it's very selfish of you if you're listening to this and this pricks your heart. I want you to think about. I think it's very selfish of you to not listen to the experts who saying, "Hey, if we do X, Y, and Z, we can get back."
Like I said, that's all we have to
Like
do.
that's all it is. Like if we did a good stretch of 4 to 6 weeks of social distancing, limiting things like going to the club. I'm tired of seeing the Atlanta club packed out. I'm just tired of it.
Baby.
Uh, or packed out brunch somewhere. I'm kind of over it. If we do these things, everybody can kind of get back to what they were doing.
Right.
But the sucky thing about it is there are three things that are so engraved into our culture that it made COVID even worse. That is capitalism,
Mm-hmm.
that is racism.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the other thing? Capitalism, racism, and uh and selfishness.
Yes.
Those are the three things that oh no, capitalism, racism, and politics. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Politics. Those three things basically took over COVID
Right.
because then it became a political thing, a bipartisan thing. some people on this aisle saying wear masks. Some people on this aisle don't like wearing masks. You know, people think their rights are being infringed on when y'all don't know what depression looks like.
Yeah.
uh, and capitalism, because it is so engraved into our culture that you can't even do a proper shutdown without small businesses losing their business, people losing their jobs, losing healthcare coverage, losing money for rent, evictions being out, like it's all over the place.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, what are we supposed to do, Lydia?
I think for the most part, I'm just about to start yelling at folks because I have literally been in the store, like in Kentucky, it's been, they have shut down most of the restaurants. Like they've gone back a phase. So basically
Yeah,
where you can no longer, dine in, you can only pick up, or they'll have the tents set up
yeah.
outside and it's cold. So if your food
You
isn't
better
like
get to
A1,
go.
I'm not sitting outside.
Mm-mm.
Um, but there's still folks that will walk into a store without a mask. Now, there's some stores, gas stations, whatever, that unless you have on a mask, you cannot come in. And my thing is with a lot of these establishments, it's like whether you are aching for people to come in or not, you should be more concerned for your health and
Mm-hmm.
for those that have already entered into your establishment. And when as soon as you see someone that does not have on a mask, or at least one of those like um what is it, like almost like those little sleeves that you can
Yeah,
just
yeah,
push,
yeah, yeah.
something, a bandana, something, to
Something.
where it's like cover your mouth and your nose,
Not just
people,
one. Not just one
not
part.
just a nostril, not just below, your whole, like literally, I don't want to,
Whole
like
thing.
literally here, who's coming out my window type thing. I don't want to see nothing but your eyes, okay?
Ha
That's it.
ha.
And people have literally just taken it upon themselves to get an attitude. People have gotten arrested because they literally want to pick a fight on wearing a mask.
It's
We
so
were in
simple, yo.
Kroger, we were in Kroger maybe 2 weeks ago in self-checkout. Now, Kroger has already been a beast to go into because people are still just feeling like they got to buy up the whole store and act like their homes are the only ones that have to be filled up with food, toilet paper, and whatever else.
And Lysol wipes.
And like, listen, baby, there hasn't been a Lysol bottle in either Walmart or Kroger. Huh? Can't stand it. So
Mm-mm.
we're in self-checkout. And there's a gentleman that does not have on anything, not a mask, not a sleeve, not anything. He's of the white persuasion, and he's standing in line. And there's a guy that comes past us, and there's an older gentleman, older black guy that was standing in front of us, and he stops the white guy and says, "Oh, hey, I like the no mask thing. You can cut me if you like." Meanwhile, it is my boyfriend and I, the older gentleman behind him who works there, who was on break in line. There's another well, it was a lady that was behind us with her son, and it was another family that was, so you got at least 7 people behind you. And because you see another idiot that doesn't have on a mask, you tell him that he can cut you because you don't want to be safe. Make it make sense.
You
It's
know.
people like that you literally just want to just stop and be like, bye, drop all your stuff and go. And
Mm-mm.
for most places like Kroger and Walmart, they have security that is right there at the door that will stop you and be like, you don't have a mask? Okay, you cannot enter. For
Go on
most
back.
of them, right, for most of them, they're like, oh, like I remember going into, I forgot which store. I think it was a CVS. A guy literally was walking in behind me, didn't have on a mask, and the lady told him, "I'm sorry, sir, you can't come in if you don't have on a mask." He was like, "Oh, y'all don't have an extra one?" For some places, they'll have them for you,
Yeah.
but it still shouldn't have to be the establishment's responsibility to do something that you should already have possession of.
Yeah.
There are too many bags, like all those little they have like those little packs now where
Yeah.
you can get like 50, almost 100 masks in a bag. I keep them
Mm.
in my car. especially on days when I'm like wearing makeup and I know I don't want it to be messed up. I just spend time on it.
Not the hair flip. I'm
Like
weak.
I'm not. No. If anything, it's like I know I can wear lipstick coming in here, so let me get a
But that's the
little.
thing though, like people have to get strict about it. Like I
Yeah.
understand you want people's business. I get all that. I get all that. But you have to think about the community as a whole. Like I work
Stop
at
just thinking about yourself.
yeah, yeah.
Stop being so.
Well, like I work at Aldi, and this was literally what they told us like a couple weeks ago. Well, not it's been a couple months now.
Yeah.
So at first it was, mask optional, basically. And then we moved from mask optional to employees have to wear a mask at all times. Cool,
Right.
I'm on board with that. That's fine. Then it became okay, people face masks required, but here's the catch though. So because they want to make sure that we're safe, we can ask the people walking in to wear a mask.
Yeah.
If they don't have one, we can offer one to them. Cool. But we can't kick them out for not wearing a mask. I was like, so
Crazy.
basically the mask is a suggestion. It's like that's
Legit.
that's literally what you're saying. You're saying, hey, we don't want you guys to get injured and whatnot. I was like, look, try Jesus, don't try me.
Legit.
I fight. I was like, look, if somebody tried to two-piece me, they gonna have to try real
We're
hard,
about to have a 5-piece dinner real quick.
right? We're gonna have family style, cause look, we can get at it. But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's so people are so stuck in their ways to want to just hold on to this sense of freedom. Like, it's not about freedom. It's about like literally people are dying. Like watching these shows that depict what's happening in hospitals and whatnot has been hard to watch. Almost to me, like I said, I'm very much in touch with all feelings, and I've been moved to tears watching like The Good Doctor and Grey's Anatomy, and
Yeah.
just watching those people just like fictionally die, but realistically, this is what's happening. People are being put on ventilators and not getting off them. Like they're getting off of them, but they getting off at the final stop type
Exactly.
situation.
Yeah.
And that's why I say not wearing a mask is selfish. It affects more than you think. It's not about your liberties being impaired. It's not about somebody trying to keep you from breathing properly. It's about making sure that the safety of the community is put first
Yeah.
as a whole. Like everybody has been hit in so many different ways. And a lot of it is hit financially based off of this. So you would think if you were a person that maybe your business isn't doing just as well anymore, maybe you would encourage more people to listen to the experts, to do what is already been recommended.
Right.
They said when this first thing started, social distance, wear a mask, sanitize, wash your body, wash your everything, do it all so we can get back to some stuff. Like that's all we had to do. But because again, racism, politics, and capitalism are so ingrained in us, unfortunately, people like me and Lydia cannot get back to the stuff that we love to do and are born to do and is actually our main source of income. Uh like Lydia, when was your last show? Like full production.
The production on the ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when was that? Was back in what?
Last August.
So it's already been a year for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last show was almost a year ago in December was Christmas Carol. I was still working on that at the Alliance. So, it's a year for us not being able to
That's crazy.
even like I don't think I've had this much of a dry season in quite some time to where I wasn't doing anything show related. And that's what I'm saying.
It's been it'll definitely put you in a space of, like you said, having that self-doubt and having
Mhm.
those moments of like, okay, Jesus, what now? Because literally before I actually booked the ship, I had a moment with God of just asking him, like, all right, well, if it's not this that I'm gonna do, what else do you want me to do? Because literally nothing else makes me happy. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
it's like you we already have moments of being our biggest self-critics,
Yeah.
our biggest, like, we will beat ourselves up over things that we can't control, over all that I did that in an audition, I should have did this, or I should have sung this
Mhm.
this way, I should have read that part just a little bit different, and then
Yeah.
trying to block out what the next person is doing, all of these things. And then how we just came to the realization, like, it's been a year, and this had nothing to do with the pandemic, because as soon as I actually was going to be in a show back, like this past, we would have started rehearsals like the third week of, matter of fact, the weekend after we finished for Switch Up.
Yeah. Y'all
We
were
did
supposed to
we did
start.
Switch Up on that 13th. We would have
Mhm.
started rehearsals on the 16th, and they let us know on the 15th, no, everything's shutting down. So literally
Yeah.
was like that quick. And since then it has been, what it was, or what it's been. But yeah, I mean, it's literally putting everybody in this bind. And it's like
Mhm.
people still don't care. People
Don't
still
get it.
don't get that, oh well, it hasn't affected me like it has for the next person. And I feel like that's where a lot of folks have just lost it, because it hasn't hit them. It's like, well, my
Mhm.
family's good, so I don't have to worry about it. Or, nobody in my family is had a positive test, so what am I
Yeah.
wearing a mask for? I'm not even around my family. Like, most of my family's not here either, but I would still
I'm still wearing
take
that
it upon
mask.
myself that every time that I've gone up to visit them, I have a mask on. I bring the same protocol that I use here in
Yeah.
my own space, I take up there, because it's like, I have two aunts that, they do, their health is declining. So
Yeah.
if I was one of those people that's just like, oh, you all right, it's cool,
Come on
like,
outside.
yeah, come on. And it's literally people just getting out of their own heads and butts to just like come to the realization. I haven't realized, Lord, I gotta remember who's watching this,
She
and
said,
eventually
"I
who's
gotta
gonna,
keep it. I gotta keep it in line.
because I mean, like, I don't forget, like, people they're gonna be streaming this later.
We gotta maybe some child doesn't popped up on this, so we
For
gotta make
real,
sure."
like,
But you're
but
right. People
yeah,
got to get out their butts
yeah,
and they
and just get a
selfishness
grip.
and do right, because
Yeah.
it's just it's really bad, y'all. It's not fun. I miss my friends.
Yeah.
I miss my family. Like the stage is fine, but I miss I some people I haven't hugged in so long. I just had a beer with and just
Yeah.
chummed up, you know. I miss stuff like that because that's who I am at my core. I'm a people person, and not being able to interact with people, especially in a show type environment, sucks. I haven't seen my grandparents on my dad's side since maybe March, maybe April,
Wow.
because I'm just so afraid to go over there.
Yeah.
Like I'm like they live here in the city. They probably about 20, 30 minutes from me, but I'm like I don't know. I don't trust it.
Yeah.
Not even
Even if
though
you just like pulled up on them, like, and just sat outside.
maybe I think because like I know I'm safe and I just want to keep it that way.
Yeah.
There's just so many unknown factors that it's like okay, I'll call you, I'll let you hear my voice and whatnot, and but I have a responsibility to people.
Yeah.
Even like I said, even when we do, we've done our JMC production stuff. We make sure even before y'all get there, everything's wiped down. We if you want to wear a mask, that's fine. In this
Yeah.
environment, everything's fairly contained. Especially this last show, we did it in shifts. which
Yeah.
made it even more so comfortable for people coming in and out, so it's just
Yeah.
stuff like that. Just take responsibility, and it's a new normal, but it doesn't have to be a forever normal. And I
Right.
think that's what, at the end of the day, we want to get across people. This is a new normal that does not have to be permanent. All you have to do is your part.
Oh, we should have tagged that.
Look, let me
This
say
is a
that
new
again.
normal that
This is
does
a new
not.
normal that does not have to be permanent.
Hey, I felt that.
It does not have to take. It does not have to stick. All you have to do is be socially responsible and
Hmm.
aware
Hmm.
of what's going on around you.
All you got to
Now,
do is follow directions.
follow
Huh?
directions. You follow directions. Well, some of y'all may not follow directions while y'all drive either. But follow directions like if you were about to get pulled over. How about that? Follow directions that closely.
Right.
But also just think about somebody other than yourself. Think about the person that's next to you. Think
Right.
about the person that you haven't even met yet, that is looking to you, even though they don't know you, to be a blessing to them down the line.
Yeah.
That's what I think. It's not about one person, it's about all people. um and like I said, so new normal, the message for this episode. I know we ran long. This is just a big topic, so thank you guys for bearing with us. But to sum it up, yes, this is a new normal. It sucks. There are some good parts to it, but for the most part, it sucks. I know. Um, but it doesn't. Like I said, it's one that does not have to be permanent. All it takes, wearing a mask, social distance, watch, make sure you're washing and sanitizing, and just cool out for a while. Try to find new ways to do some things.
Yeah.
And reinvent some things. Um, and if you're a believer, take this time to hear from the Lord. Maybe there was something you were doing prior to this that you shouldn't have been doing. A job, a relationship, a
Hmm.
career. There's so many things that in silence you discover about yourself and where you are going.
Y'all don't hear him.
Look, are we getting into BTR? We ain't even wrapped up the
I was about to say,
time.
go ahead and take it, brother.
No,
This,
you good. You got it. You
no,
got it.
this is rich. Okay.
All right, all right.
My
So
niche.
look. Taylor reads over. This is officially the BTR. This is our breathe, think, release moment. We just
This
gonna
is it.
segue right on in. Silence, being still. It has been so profound for me during this time to basically be introspective on a lot of things that I might have been doing or not doing. Like I was always teetering between, okay, I'm gonna be a full-time performer or whatnot. Okay, how do I do that?
Mm.
Okay, but I gotta go find some. I mean, I gotta go work this 9 to 5 because we gotta pay bills and whatnot.
Right.
But maybe that's not what I'm supposed to be doing at all. And it's been very interesting having those moments. Like I said, I before any of this started, about a year ago, I was interviewing to be a flight attendant for Delta. I had gotten all the way to the end of the interview process and I had gotten an offer to be a flight attendant. And I was like, well, I had already had it planned. I was like, well, I'll do some small shows here and there. I'll do a couple more cabarets, but, I need the health insurance. I need this, that, and the third. And I was got my background stuff was going through, and I was just kind of waiting to hear back. And I eventually heard back, and they had rescinded their offer. And I said, wait a minute. Okay. So I got a copy of the background. Nothing was in it. It was like I tell people, I'm boring. I don't do nothing. I haven't did nothing. I ain't been in no type of trouble. Like it was blank. There was just a couple discrepancies, like work history wise, like dates and that kind of stuff. Nothing major.
Yeah.
So I sent it back to the um people, to the Delta people, was like, hey, this and the third, and I never heard back from them. And so recently I'm driving and I'm on, what is that, 85 over where the Delta Loop and stuff is.
Yeah.
And I looked over, I said, maybe I should rejoin, maybe I should hit them back up. You know, maybe we can finally figure it out. As soon as I thought about that, I get a call. Hey, so I'm such and such. I got your number from a mutual friend, and he told me that you teach voice and piano. I said, yeah, I do. Let's talk. Let's rap.
Hmm.
That's one of my students now.
Wow.
You know, we got our thing with Kip. That's another thing. We're getting more like, so all these things are happening, but they happened in this time of real reflection and silence to be like, what you were doing before or whatever you were thinking of doing was not working.
Right.
It was not advancing anything. It was just making you okay. Uh, and that's one thing that uh, watching Lovecraft, it was being that I was like, okay, yeah, I got to take this now for myself. You know, the I Am episode, but also watching people like Tick and Montree owning who they were and kind of discarding the things that they had been told to be like and told to do, and but really standing in one's power
Yeah.
of who you are supposed to be. And so yeah, like I said, I know it sucks. I don't like this pandemic, but I'm grateful for the time that I've had to figure out the things that I should have been doing this whole time. But because of the rat race of it all, I wasn't able to just stop and just be like, "All right, God, I'm listening. What you got for me today?"
Hmm.
Because he answers, he answers some prayers, and all it, seeking ye shall find, knocking the door shall be, if you know your word, you know your word, and the door shall be opened.
Hmm.
So I've done all that. I've been asking, hey, what you want me to do? What you need me to do? Because it's gonna advance. Like I don't think people hear me. Hear me when I say everything you do is not always about you. Lydia, I'll say that again. Everything you do is not always about you.
You talking to me? I'm just listening. I'm listening.
Listen, I'm just talking.
I'm-
It's not. It is not. When me and Laverne made JMC Productions, we had no clue. It was just like she'll always tell you it was about me. She created it to help me, and she got tired of seeing me go through what I was going through, and she just wanted me to have a space.
Yeah.
But now that we're in the thick of it, it's so much bigger than us.
Yeah.
Like I wish I could tell you some of the stuff that we've been working on that we haven't even announced, and it's just like this is for other people.
Hmm.
This is to plant seeds for other people, and it did not
That's how I met
happen.
you.
Huh? Yeah, that's how we. But that's what I'm saying. Like it has been fostered in the silence of a pandemic, in just being still, just having time to just okay, watching where you step, watching how you maneuver, watching how you spend your money,
Hmm.
watching how you eat. Some of us,
Hmm.
some of us, if you like me, I've gained a couple of COVID pounds. But
Yeah.
even so, knowing how to fix it, knowing that you have time to redirect. Some of y'all been in careers for 30 plus years that y'all were never supposed to be in.
Hey, I'm about
But
to
be
open my window.
look, but that's true. Some of y'all been stuck in this rat race because again, the three things that our culture is built off of, politics, racism, and capitalism, have made us this way. So now we have time.
I am tired.
Now we have time to redirect and refocus ourselves. What you gonna do with it? That's my question. You got this new normal that is not permanent again. What are you gonna do with the time that you have to just be still? So that's it. That is my BTR moment. I'm sorry, y'all. We ran long.
He ain't sorry.
Look, I try
We
to get my
this is
look, I
what
try to
this is
get my
for.
ministry every now and then when
Every
I can.
episode. Every episode. And I keep saying, listen, Bishop, listen. Because no, you're right. That's literally, y'all. I was supposed to have the BTR moment, but
I'm
there's
sorry to
nothing. There's nothing to say. No, literally, like I think I've said it before on one of the other episodes that kind of just played into everything that we talked about.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's mighty rich, Bishop. That's mighty rich. You
Hey,
said it all, and
hey, it's all him. It's all him. That's all. I'm just the vessel. I'm just here. I'm just here.
we is
That's all.
here.
Like I'm just telling you, we's here. We's live. All right, y'all. Well, we're gonna get out of here. Like I said, we kept y'all long, but hopefully you got something out of it. And again, the message is this is a new normal, but it does not have to
Have
be a
to be
permanent.
permanent one.
So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Catch us next week for Black Table Read at 7:30. Hopefully we'll be on time. Who knows? Technology's funny. I mean, look, it happens. But thank you guys so much. If you want to check out the episode again, it'll be still up, so you can go back if you want to hear something again. If you're on the go and want to hear the episode, it will be up on all streaming platforms and YouTube. So check us out then. But until then, thank you guys so much. Be blessed, be well, wear a mask for Christ's sake.
And wash your hands.
And other parts, because some of y'all weren't doing that beforehand. So wash everything.
See.
Just wash it all at this point. All right, y'all. Well, y'all be blessed. We will talk to y'all soon. Peace.
Bye.